Hello, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today I'm going to play around with some charcoal and potentially some other tools on some, let's see what it is. It is the Hobby Lobby tanned recycled sketch paper, which I found is really holding up very well to erasure and back and forth. $15. I think I got it either half off or 40% off, so $7.50 after tax. Let's say just $8.50, make it a nice round number. I think it might be similar to the Ranson tones recycled sketching paper. So I'm curious if anybody knows where Hobby Lobby is sourcing this paper from. I'm using the Derwent XL Charcoal, which I got from Jerry's Artorama. The lowest price I found online was those two locations, Jerry's Artorama and Blick, for about $25. Other places it starts jumping up to $33. MSRP, I think the top max amount was about $50. I have some different erasure tools that I'm going to play around with. I have a blending stump, etc. So I am going to dive into this. I'm going to look at making a landscape drawing or painting with these. The colors, I don't know off the top of my head the exact colors within the set. That being said, they are all extremely light fast according to the Derwent website. The Derwent color charts are very easy to read and were very helpful in my decision of getting these. Now, whenever I had used charcoal in the past, and I was playing a little bit with Conte crayons, etc. Whenever I had used them in the past, it was about over 10 years ago. I was taking art classes at UL while I was doing my alternative certification to become a teacher. I already had my degrees in mathematics and physics, and I had some art classes under my belt from when I went to college in New York, and I continued my art studies, and then I became certified to teach art as well. So I wanted these big blocks for big block mark making. Whenever I had used charcoal in college, it was the charcoal stick or the charcoal pencil in one hand and an eraser in the other. And we would work from a live model, and we'd go back and forth with the charcoal, laying it in, kind of getting our cross hatching in, working the form, and then using the eraser as a mark making tool and to pull things back. So it was a lot of back and forth that we had utilized. The tonalist approach that I've adopted for oils and watercolor, where I have a paper towel in one hand and a brush in the other, is very reminiscent of that approach. So yeah, that's kind of my background with it. It has been quite a while. I never really did the charcoal landscapes, but there was a fantastic artist that I found online. I think it was Miss Suzanne Bryan. I'll have to check. Miss Sue Bryan, who did some amazing works, and it just inspired me to get that attempt to do the tonalist moody feel with charcoal. So like I said, this video will probably be very exploratory. I might have not mentioned that, but hopefully you enjoy and it inspires you to experiment with charcoal. Charcoal is quite messy. It's something that I had wanted to essentially avoid. Just like I need Hammy's paw to avoid touching this charcoal and getting it all over him. He's right on my lap hanging out. But what my goal here is to use the additive and subtractive approach to build up tonal values and shapes and see what works for me with this. I do have some fine charcoal and compressed charcoal on hand if I choose to try to do thinner lines, some different erasers on the side to see if there's anything I want to explore, mark making. I even have the electric eraser, which has been a godsend. And this paper holds up very well. Though, I know one of the first things I had said about this charcoal, these blocks, was the light fastness rating. I don't know the quality of this paper in regards to longevity. So it's something that I'm always kind of watching out for. Light fastness is kind of a passion of mine because, you know, you never know if you're going to do something nice and it's going to wind up in somebody else's hands, and then you don't want it to fade and go away on them. So here's the pink eraser. We're on the warm toned paper, so we would just be erasing to that. I do want to show right off the bat the electric eraser and how that pulls back. In one experiment, I found that I could continually just go back and forth in a spot with the electric eraser, and this paper held up to the abuse. So I was pleased in that regard. I'm also glad it's not too noisy. It does pique the cat's interest whenever I use it, so there is that. But for filming, it's not a big issue. It's essentially a Dremel tool, just a rotary tool. And it just pops right in like that. As the piece gets a little bit shorter, I have noticed that it doesn't stick as tight, but I think little shims made out of paper might help there. Erasers, I'm really not sure the different types and the why. I do have the kneaded eraser, which lets you mold it to a fine point. But between the gum and the pink erasers, I'm really not sure why and if there is a difference between them. So, a vast exploration of mark making. Okay, I think I have my general composition down, so let's build up this ochre. I did watch one video where they were comparing charcoal being used with fixative, spray fixative, and charcoal not being used with spray fixative, where they'd apply the charcoal, smooth it out, cover one side, spray with fixative, take the whole entire thing off, cover with charcoal again, blend, put it on top, spray the fixative, and it would help build up that dark side. And it showed how it allowed you to build up that depth. This charcoal is beyond soft. It is absolutely buttery smooth. Hammy, come on, bud. There you go. I've become very good at handling cats one-handed. I used to never be able to hold like animals or babies or anything like that. I don't have any kids, but somebody hands you a baby and you're like, I don't know how to hold it. Somebody hands you a cat, you don't know how to hold it. But Hammy has changed me in so many ways. That cat is awesome. My kitten, Percy, has been on a toilet paper rampage where I cannot keep her from tearing up the toilet paper roll, so I need to figure out what to do there. In today's economy, we can't be wasting toilet paper, right? So I'm just softening things. One of my concerns is the mess of the charcoal itself. So one of the ideas that I had was to simply lay some cartridge paper here and every so often lift it up, give it a tap, and get that excess off. That excess will be a little combination of the eraser and the charcoal. But I'm wondering if it could be used in other experimental ways. So, building up my tones and masses, it's very reminiscent of the wet and wet stage of watercolor, where I kind of get everything in place, and then I would do a dry off and then go over it with a dry brush in more detail. So not sure if it's just me adopting a method that I use for one thing to another or what. Building up this soft, dreamy background. Let's see, clouds. I've been trying to look at clouds more when I'm out and about. Been taking plenty of photos of them. Let's just go back and remove some of that black that I grabbed. Throw some texture in that sky. There we go. And I could always use the white. In my initial exploration video, it did all layer and take very well. I had started debating having a different finger for each color, because at this point, you know, you start getting that dirty charcoal. I thought maybe potentially save a finger for white, the pinky for white. If you enjoy these videos and these explorations, let me know down below. And if you want to support this channel, I have the Etsy, the Patreon, and other things that you can support through. I have exclusive content up on the Patreon. I've been trying to focus on having more exclusive stuff up there. I have over 600 videos on YouTube, so I think that's quite a large collection of free videos for people to access. Now I'm thinking it might be time to just start, you know, looking at some more exclusive stuff, so that people that want the free stuff have plenty of access, and then people that want exclusive and donate are able to get a little bit more. Building up this dark right here. see. Tap, 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 tap. I grab a little container to put that excess charcoal into and use it as a powdered charcoal. Let's grab our electric eraser. Start pulling out trees. This is going to pull it back to the toned paper. And as you can see, it pulls back very quickly and very easily. And if you want to go back over it, tone it back down, it's a possibility. Sure, there's limitations on the line width with the electric eraser, but we can come back in and bring it to where we want it. Let's see. This is a more sanguine. Warm up on the outside edge. These blocks are sold individually on Blick, and I think Jerry's as well, for I think $6.99. If you were just like, oh, I just want to get the black and just try the black. Let's use the kneaded eraser for marks. Just exploring and what's working for me. I feel like I'm going to need to learn more about paper quality and paper properties. You'll have the tooth of the paper, then you start filling it in. And charcoal is such a messy medium. And being in the cramped art room, trying not to make too much of a mess. I think in college we had worked vertically. I'm working flat here, so probably a lot of our mess just fell directly on the floor. I think there was a lot of sweeping and the like afterwards. Here's a little stump to pull out some texture, and I know I can use it to pick up color in one spot and lay it down in another. We just never really used blending stumps in college, and I'm not sure why. Might have been we were just looking at the overall, the big picture, as opposed to kind of the smaller detail. A lot of laying of tones next to each other. I think I might pull out some vine charcoal now. I do have a paper towel dedicated to the charcoal. Let's lift this up, tap that down. back down. So, fine charcoal. I have some more Hobby Lobby stuff. I picked this up whenever they have their sale on the Master's Touch. This is $3.49, so less than $2 for some vine, which is fine. I think the vine isn't as dark as the compressed, or it seems like compressed was more recommended towards beginners than the vine when I was looking around online. And I'm definitely a beginner. I do have the compressed charcoal as well. I'm just grabbing this for the narrow mark making and just to see what happens. Very expressive strokes with it. So let this side. We got hammy. Yeah. So I think I was talking about it earlier. I need to have to learn about the papers and their properties more. And the tooth being full and its ability to handle multiple layers. I did read about some paper where you want to be careful with certain things with pastels because you start pushing down the tooth or pushing down the fibers, and then it doesn't want to sit amongst it. So there seems to be a lot to learn there. But I have this. I have some toned Strathmore, I think. I have some toned Stonehenge Aqua, and I can tone it with ink or the colored charcoal or Conte probably. Let's start with that. I wonder how good this would be for on-the-spot sketching or preliminary sketches for paintings. Let's see. Bring that up. Bring that up. There's a lady that I befriended a few years ago. Her father was an art professor, and she was a retired art teacher. And very nice lady. I need to shoot her a text to give her a call and ask her some charcoal questions. I do have the Whiteconte right here. So I'm going to use that on top. I have the white charcoal block, but let's see. I think essentially the same mark, just trying to get thinner lines. Hammy, my hands are full of charcoal, but Hammy says he doesn't care. Let's see if we can get the sky super white. How expressive we can get. So keep softening. I guess it's just two different approaches. The sketchy, expressive marks, and the softening. Throw some of that ochre. We could use that as a trunk color. Derwent does sell tinted charcoal pencils, and I am debating those. These thinner lines. But my concern is sharpening them, as I'm found that I'm not very good with sharpening Conte pencils and other things, so I think I'm very prone to breaking the leads or the graphites inside. It gave a little bit more life. Let's come right back in with our dark. Create a texture. Build up that dark. All right, let's take a look at the overall results. Let's see where we're at. First, oh wow, looking at it from a distance, so I'm obviously drawing up close and in my face with this, from a distance and looking at it through the camera, looking at it through the phone that I'm filming with, it seems like there's a lot of depth. I'm really enjoying that sanguine distant glow. That white mark making over the top, it just goes on like butter. Wow, I'm really enjoying these. Very fun, very playful. Just go back and forth with it. A lot of nice dark marks in here. I'm thinking that our darker compressed charcoal should be experimented with just to see what happens there. So I have these that I bought from Hobby Lobby as well. $7, so if I got them half off, $3.50. Let's just see the dark marks. So this is different than the Vine charcoal. I'm not sure when compressed charcoal came about, Some nice marks there. I'm very satisfied with this first go. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you could see the potential of this medium, and I hope that I can film some videos with it and explore it and add it to the rotation of art mediums. This paper, I just can't say enough about it. I just wish that, I think it's acid free, but I like more of a promise with paper, you know, archival and things like that. So let me know what you think of the paper, the supplies, if there's anything you recommend, anything you would like to see. And we should sign this. So let's go right here. How on earth am I going to sign with charcoal? I'll probably need to like do a little symbol for this. It'll be the artist formerly known as Andrew. So, I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, follow. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want to support the channel, a whole bunch of links down below. And if there's any piece of art that I have that I didn't put up for sale, if you'd like that, please let me know. Y'all take care. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.